We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Deontay Wilder incessantly called bizarre, weird for his choice to opt out of the press conference questioning, and his silence speaks volumes. I'm going to talk about all that in this video. What does it mean? Why is old media mad at him? We'll talk about all that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest. Listen, I dropped the illest content in boxing. Hit the subscribe button, share the video, like the video. You can also hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing when I drop, when I go live. Wilder versus Fury 3 is among us, and we'll be talking about that fight a lot, among other fights, Pacquiao Spence. This is your one-stop shop for all your boxing needs. Let's get it. Now, Wilder had the first and only press conference with Tyson Fury a couple days ago. I did the Boxingego watch party. Shout out to everybody who participated in that. And I had a couple of tweets because I just noticed some things, right? Wilder frequently has spoken on white privilege in boxing. I've talked about it as well. And I'll use this video to clarify because, you know, in tweets you have a certain amount of characters. So let's go over this. So I said, notice the difference of how it's framed. Hashtag white privilege, hashtag ego. So here's the thing. You can play dumb, but I'm going to read both these tweets from a boxing reporter. And you notice that all the old media reporters are making Deontay Wilder sound as if he's so strange and odd and peculiar and bizarre, when you know exactly why he remains silent. First of all, he's fighting Tyson Fury, and the two have history. They've already had 2 fights. Both of them have been good. Tyson Fury's the champion. He's the A-side. He's the champion. His name is being top billed. So why is it on Wilder? Why does it rest on the challenger? What part of the game is this? It's like people are making this a lot harder than it really needs to be, right? Why is it the challenger's job to incite the fan? Listen, on one end, and see, I don't want to get too sidetracked because I want to get through these tweets, but make sure you smash the like button, help support the channel. We're going to run the numbers up. This is the thing. People are overcomplicating this, right? When Wilder is vocal, they tell him to be quiet. When Wilder is silent, then they blame him and get mad. Beyond that, you had people with old media, and they constantly say and berate Wilder no matter what he does. He can burp, sneeze, fart, you know, twerk, anything. It's constantly the Wilder conversation. Now, here's the thing. We've listened to old media lie and say Joshua Fury was next, say Wilder keeps dancing, say that Wilder, look at his skinny legs, say Wilder's depressed, all these various things, and people are pretending to act dumb as to why Wilder is not leading the promotion and speaking. So let's get into the tweet. A UK, keep this in mind, UK boxing reporter Michael Benson, he says Billy Joe Saunders asked to reporters why he did not show up for the first face-off with Canelo at the stadium yesterday. Quote, yesterday I was in my room playing with my balls. There was no time for media yesterday because it was my time for playing with my balls, right? This is Billy Joe Saunders' response as to why he didn't fulfill fight week media obligations with the one and only Canelo Alvarez, which was supposed to be a big fight. They said it had sold 60,000 plus tickets. This is his immature response. Billy Joe Saunders, a Caucasian gypsy from the UK, just like Tyson Fury, they're friends. Tyson Fury actually went to this Canelo fight and watched his man get beat and his eye broke. And he also watched Billy Joe Saunders' dad get stomped out by security. He's saying he did not go fulfill a press obligation Like if you go to Matchroom's page, they have, like, I could pull it up. Matchroom's page, if you go back to that date, they have fight week obligations from Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders. Canelo showed up. All the reporters got to take pictures with Canelo, but guess what? Billy Joe Saunders did not. So I'm giving you and demonstrating you, which I'll give you my other tweet, which pretty much said the same thing. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Boom, we got action. Matchroom, fight week schedule, Canelo Saunders, right? This was the fight week schedule. Tuesday, it was supposed to be the fight week face-off. But guess what? As I mentioned, you won't see a picture of Billy Joe Saunders at that face-off because Canelo, look, all the pictures, he's by himself, right? So it's very easy to understand, all right? Canelo was by himself in all the pictures. Look, waiting, Billy Joe Saunders did not show up, right? He was supposed to be there. They told you he was going to be there, and he didn't show up, right? So very simple stuff. Canelo fought a Caucasian British fighter, supposed to be there for media day, didn't show up. We got that. So this reporter mentioned that, right? Said, oh, he didn't show up. And his response for why he didn't show up was he was playing with his balls, right? So I also said, funny, the racist old media had no problem with Billy Joe Saunders, British white gypsy, threatening to pull out and fly home, which is another separate issue. He specifically said he was going to fly home. They had to fly another fighter, John Ryder, out in the event that he tried to pull out in the last minute. He said he couldn't get a larger ring, then he was leaving. Then he missed the face-off, like I just showed you, and he was in his room watching Scarface in his hotel. But then a black fighter, Deontay Wilder, they said he should promote and talk more, and he's unprofessional because he was silent. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with grease. So once again, as I've just showed you, this reporter is talking and posting how Billy Joe Saunders didn't show up, and he's saying he was playing with himself or whatever, weird. And then when Wilder doesn't, not just this reporter, but others, like you guys see in the title, DAZN reporter as well, and that's Chris Mannix, and I'll get to that in a second, says Deontay Wilder made one brief opening statement promising bloodshed, but is now keeping his headphones on the rest of the press conference, blocking out Tyson Fury completely and opting not to answer any questions at all. So once again, you could see the verbiage and the wording. Wilder is being villainized. This is a UK reporter with mostly probably a UK fan base that are on the same time zone and stuff like that. And the pictures of him with a mask, even though he took the mask off, still did the face off, etc. And that's to weaponize the media and villainize Wilder. It's not hard to understand, right? It says Tyson Fury makes his entrance to the Deontay Wilder trilogy shirtless while Wilder blocks him out with headphones. So once again, this reporter is continuing to use literature words to try to make Wilder look so crazy. And this is just one of many, right? DAZN. This is the difference. I just went over it. We're talking about white privilege as it pertains to boxing. Billy Joe Saunders, right? An MTK fighter, a Caucasian gypsy from the England. He missed the fight week in May. Just happened. I just showed you. Canelo had to do the first day by himself. His response, his reason why he didn't give his time to media, he says he was playing with his balls in his room. And he posted a picture of him watching Scarface, which I posted, right? So he let Canelo, on top of threatening to go home and making a fuss about the ring. So DAZN reporter, Chris Mannix, it says, this is Wilder being villainized. Verified page, for months, Deontay Wilder has dragged Tyson Fury's name through the mud. On Tuesday, Wilder had a chance to confront Tyson Fury directly, and he said nothing on a bizarre press conference in Los Angeles. Wilder chooses silence after months of saying Fury cheated. It's not hard to understand. He doesn't have much to say. They're trying to paint Wilder out like he's crazy because he didn't speak to them, right? But listen, when the same DAZN reporter, Chris Mannix, when he found out that there was a no-show, right? says Michael Benson, Billy Joe Saunders, has not showed up for his first face-off of the week. And Canelo looks mad in there. You know, Canelo is there alone after Billy Joe Saunders' father claimed the fight would be off due to the ring size, which corroborates what I've already told you. Once again, Canelo had to do the whole press, face-off and the whole photo op by himself, as you see pictured, right? In response to that, the same DAZN reporter, Chris Mannix, right, who does a lot of their live on-air stuff, he has shows and stuff, it says, nice to see the Billy Joe Saunders mind games are up and running. So back to my tweet, which most people got, but there were some people who act like they couldn't understand it. When we're talking about white privilege as it pertains to boxing, how is it accepted that Billy Joe Saunders can run amok, miss dates, do this bizarre stuff, as the B-side, say he was playing with himself and not show up? But Wilder shows up. He didn't do anything unprofessional. He was just a man of very few words. And then he showed up to the press conference, unlike Billy Joe Saunders, and he just wasn't talking. He doesn't have to. He's not the champion. He's coming off a loss. He wants to hurt the man. He already told you. He says, I want to hurt him. Like, there's nothing really to say. And once again, Old Media is attempting to make Wilder look like he's so peculiar and bizarre. He don't have nothing to say. And it's ironic that when he doesn't talk, Old Media hates. When he does talk, Old Media hates. So it's the catch-22. Either way, no matter what. It sounds like his mindset, I can't speak for Wilder, I'm not DW, but it sounds like his mindset is merely focused on the fight. Tyson Fury also, and I think that's another reason why Old Media is so mad, is because Tyson Fury is like a jackal. So he thrives and survives off of skullduggery and mind games. Wilder wasn't participating in that, which is a great psychological warfare. So some people thought Billy Joe Saunders, his antics that he was doing, asking for a bigger ring size, was psychological warfare. Eddie Hearn even talked about that. Like, some of the gypsy mind games and stuff. But when Wilder does it, a black fighter with dark skin, like Pac said, from the start, I felt the racism because I'm dark, right? When Wilder does it, people lose their mind. All the Old Media is going crazy. They're saying this is so crazy. He's so unprofessional. He's a thug. He's, out of his mind. He disrespected all the boxing fans by not giving us a talk. But they just watched Billy Joe Saunders and him play all these mind games, or for whatever reason, and do no shows. Didn't say a peep. That's what we're talking about. White privilege as it pertains in boxing. So unlike what Charlo said on Wilder's online, interview with Ray Flores, race does matter, not to me, but to a lot of people in boxing, because they let you know it at all costs. They let you know it matters because there's a different set of rules for certain people. Wilder can't do nothing without Old Media being angry, whether it's talking, whether he wants to catch a body. They have a problem with that because he said something too violent. But Fury is continually talking about, like this video that you see on screen, Wilder is accusing Tyson Fury of manipulating and illegally tampering with his glove. Tyson Fury, a white, British, Caucasian, gypsy fighter who's being accused of cheating, as you see in this very video, by Deontay Wilder and others, right? Wilder's brother, other people. He consistently talks about, oh, I'm going to dent Wilder's skull and do this and bash him up and smash, smash, smash. The gloves still haven't been explained. And his gloves look like these weird imprints and nobody's saying a word. So I think Wilder is in vigilante mode. And that's what we're getting. He doesn't have nothing to say. There's nothing to say. Old Media can act like they don't understand, but they understand all too well. They're mad because Wilder, a strong black man from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, oh my God, is doing things his way. He's not feeding into the mind games of Tyson Fury. To me, Fury lost the press conference because when Wilder came in with them glasses and he was all business and he wasn't really speaking to Christina Pancha or anybody else, everybody's seen, and he changed the whole, You have to be a pretty powerful dude or figure to change the energy of a whole room. Nobody was laughing at Tyson Fury's jokes. It was not this fun and joyful energy, you know, because energy is contagious like anything. You know, someone yawns, that's energy. They're expending energy. And then you see them and then you yawn. Or you're at a comedy show and your girlfriend, she's laughing, so you start laughing. You know what I mean? But Wilder had a sinister energy, all business. Old media is acting like they can't understand it. DAZN reporter, he's like, oh, you know, Billy Joe's mind games are up and running, like it's cool. But then it's like trying to make Wilder look like he's scared of Tyson Fury. And he's the one that had to chase Tyson Fury via a legal arbitration and mediation process because he was trying to run off into the sunset with a whole nother promoter and Anthony Joshua. But in this, it's like he said nothing. Like this is the narrative that we're hearing from old media, as if Wilder had all this opportunity. Listen, it's a press conference. There's only so much you can say. He's already told you what he feels. He feels Fury's a cheater. He already told you that he plans to decapitate or maul him or whatever. He already told you. You know who's on his team. You know who's replaced the people that are no longer on his team. And old media can't stomach the fact that they don't have access to this man. And it's hilarious to me because now they're trying to paint him out to be this like Godzilla type creature, like monster, because he didn't talk to him at media. And it's highly, highly funny to me. I'll continue, you know, putting out my videos and having the great relationships I have with fighters. But that's why I want to make this video, because again, people are acting like they can't understand basic math. Billy Joe Saunders, he does all these games and charades and gimmicks and gypsy tricks. It's all good. Wilder shows up, does an intense face-off. That alone made the press conference because that sold me. That face-off, you could tell, you could cut the tension in the room. You know what I mean? So that alone got my purchase. I don't care if Wilder talked or kept it brief. And that's the other thing. The fight is already sold. It's been sold. The only one trying to get out of it is Tyson Fury, but legally he couldn't. You know, so I told you it's the death of old media, man. We just getting back to the real stuff in boxing. And at the end of the day, people can act confused. I think the confusion is synonymous with fear. Fear makes people do crazy stuff. And I think they fear the man you see on the screen. And they know he's all business. He's not playing no games. He's not playing with Tyson Fury. He holds the keys. Wilder's the key master. All this Saudi Arabia and MTK fighter meeting up with Joshua and all this stuff. Not if Wilder does what I think he's going to do in the fight, you know, and that's ultimately what I think is creating the real fear from old media. One, Wilder's not giving them access. And two, they know this man is super serious, you know. And again, why should he speak to media when they said he sucks? Fury's bigger in America than him. He got chicken legs. He's a twerker. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. All he has is a right hand. He's bum squad. He's depressed. They lied on his name, kicked him, spit on him, stabbed him, hit him with bricks, sticks, rocks, threw stuff at him, you know? And then now they mad. Like, what type of entitlement is that, where people could do all that to you and then they're mad because when you see them, they don't greet you. When you see them, this is like the boxing game got so many snakes and fakes and phonies. People thought Wilder would be like other fighters, where the other fighters know that you don't have their best interest in your art or your work, whether you're a YouTuber or you write articles about them. You never say anything positive. There's a difference between hating and constructive criticism. They thought Wilder would just endure it and be fake and just accept that they were hating on him and lying on his name. But Wilder apparently is too real. He's so real where at the end of the day, he's like, I don't get down like that. If you don't rock with me, that's cool. Stay over there. You on that side. So I wanted to make a detailed video explaining that Billy Joe Saunders, that's just one of many examples. You know, we can talk about how Tyson Fury failed drug tests, multiple times, admittedly done drugs, said he was going to do drugs again, like Tyson Fury. He said after the second Wilder fight this, right? I'm not even going to read it because you already know. Look, this is it in green. You see it? Tyson Fury says he plans to binge on cocaine and Ucker after fighting Wilder. So once again, this is white privilege in front of you. Karen behavior from old media. They don't have nothing to say. This is not bizarre. You know, none of this stuff is bizarre. Only what Wilder's doing. You know, Wilder at a press conference with headphones. That's bizarre. But Tyson Fury, he pulling up versus Klitschko dressed like this. You know, a grown ass man with 7 feet tall almost, dressed like this with these wombat ears, you know, looking like a honey badger or whatever. That Wilder, bro, just look at this picture. This tells you everything you need to know. Wilder having headphones, that's weird. And he's deluded and unprofessional. But this man out here looking like Michael Cretan, you know what I mean? It's crazy. That's what, to old media, this is perfectly fine to be at a press conference like that. And Wilder having Beats by Dre headphones and having very little to say. You know, that's so shocking, especially how he was treated because he didn't want to speak. And they're making up more. And they're double down. I could talk about this for hours. I could go on and on and on. They continue to make up more stories. They saying he's not speaking because he's scared and he's nervous and he knows he's going to lose. They making up more stories. So they proving me and DW, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Oh my God. They making us both so frustrated. You proving his point. They pinning up tweets and writing all these passages and I can't believe Wilder. You know, he psychologically hasn't evolved and he's so distraught, so he can't speak now. He's scared. This is why he's not talking to you. So any other questions, leave them in the comment section. I'm out. Subscribe.